conference just to get these games on television. One a week for the MIAA, how big that is for
Yeah, I think, anytime you can do that. I think and people probably don't want to hear this, there's such a place for Division II athletics and Division II basketball. We really need it. I think the more attention it gets, you will have fewer kids in the portal. There's way too much portal action going on all the time. In the NCAA, I'll be flat out, I've done this enough years, they got to do more for Division II. And that would eliminate that problem. People have no idea. Every single person you ever talk to, they'll go to a game and go, God, you guys are good. It's way hard. It's everybody. Oh, man, that's really good basketball. Yeah, like they're amazed. And, it's like when you're recruiting D1, you're like, I don't know if he can play for us. He played D2. I used to do that. Then you get to be D2, and you're like, holy cow, I need a better player than that. That's just the way it is. So we should emulate Division I as best you can. And the NCAA should help us do that. And you know what? TV games are part of that. That's something that needs to be brought out. A lot of people get to watch you play. They get to see it. I think that's really important.
Last thing from me, this is going to be your first Turnpike Tussle. You've only got 2 guys on your roster that have experienced it as redshirts last year with Chris and Devin. How do you approach this brand new rivalry with a brand new team that's also experiencing it for the first time?
Well, the team, my staff and I, we got our butts handed to us by Washburn a couple years ago in one of those crossover very first game of the week. I think it destroyed us. We'd beaten them pretty good the year before. They had all those kids back, and they really stuck it to us, which I kind of like. And so, I'm not just saying this, and I don't care. They're as good a team as there is in the country, in my opinion. I think they're a national championship caliber team. They guard extremely well. They're they're well coached. They're very good together. It's early help, early recovery. They're in their stance. They close with purpose. They're physical. They do everything that you need to do to be good. When they guard a ball screen, they guard it as a team. They rotate, they scramble. Sometimes you feel like you're playing against 6. In fact, this morning, if you'd been in our practice, we had 6, 7 guys out there on defense to emulate the things that they do on rotations and on screens and rolls and what have you. So I compliment them. I think they have a very good team. It'll be a great challenge for us. But on the flip side, you brought it up. Being on TV's cool. I hope our guys take advantage of that. That's something they should enjoy. It's a college experience. I always say when I recruit a player, I owe them a true college experience. That's what I owe them. And this is a part of that to make it a true college experience.
Greg.
I can't hear Greg.
Unmute yourself, Greg.
It's a difference.
Oh, there we go.
First off, nice to meet you, Coach.
Yeah, you too, Greg.
Looking at Washburn, I watched some of their game film of defensively, and that did impress me. What have you been telling your kids about how do you handle the way they play defense?
I think it's funny. It's a good question. How they play is how we're supposed to play. So I don't know if that answers your question. But almost we like to zone up ball screens. We want early help, early recovery. We want power eye. We want to scramble out. And it's funny. Watching their films with our team this morning, I didn't say it, but all the terminology I was using for how they defend is our terminology and what we're supposed to do. And so I think our guys, though, you still have to find certain things that you hope to do, whether it be attack closeouts, get the ball at a certain spot at the high post. You still got to do what you do. But what we're doing against their defense is we're going to try to play within the framework of what we do, but play out of it. It might not be as structured as we are against some teams because they're going to make it a little bit more of a game of frenzy. They're going to double low post touches. They're going to really scramble hard. And so you got to be ready for that pace and that kind of it's almost going to be unorganized. And we're going to play out of a structured offense disorganized and just kind of play out of it. That's all we can do. And it's fun to have a day off in between to help at least prepare for it a little bit. I'm from a league, we played every Friday, Saturday. You didn't have a lot of time to prepare for that Saturday game. So I think it's one of those types of games where we're just going to have to really be just basketball players. You're just going to have to make plays.
Is it a scenario where obviously Washburn's a team that likes to get you playing at their pace? Get you out of your pace of playing basketball. How challenging is it going to be for your guys not to let that happen to them, to play at their pace in the way that they're comfortable and not let Washburn take them out of there?
It's not going to. We'll probably play at their pace. I don't think it's going to probably happen. Two keys of that is still do what we do, but you're not going to like this, but if we have a good shot, knock it. This might be a game, 1 pass, 2 passes, and if it's a good look, we need to make that shot. We need to attack their pressure. I'm a kind that if you're going to pressure me, I'm going to attack you twice as hard. Getting our guys to do that and used to it is different. We're new with all that. But we're going to not worry so much about what they're doing that way as we're going to worry about what we have to do to try to find shots that we can make and be very aggressive with taking our shots. We don't have the depth. If we get in foul trouble, that's going to be an issue. We have to just go out and play the way we play and not worry too much about things we can't control. We're not there yet. We're not there yet to be able to challenge their pace and try to take them out of that.
On an individual side, I haven't been able to follow you as closely as I'd like to. Dolan Coates, what's his status? What's his injury? Yeah,
he had an Achilles early. And this is kind of how our season goes. We're in warm-ups against Rockhurst. I'm in the locker room, and all of a sudden our whole team's carrying him into the locker room. He got hurt in warm-ups. We're waiting. We had the MRI yesterday. The X-ray was good, but we're waiting on something. They're pretty confident it's a torn meniscus minimal. Hopefully not more. It's pretty swollen, and so it's a knee injury. It was Achilles. That kind of healed up enough where he could play, and now he gets hurt in warm-ups, and it's a knee. So that's all I have. I don't hide stuff. I could care less. I would tell you the truth. And it's not an excuse. It gives, Dallas had 8 rebounds. It gives some guys another chance to play, but the one thing he can do is he can rebound. He's a very good rebounder, and he's a presence underneath, and that would help us in conference play. There's no doubt about it.
Record aside, how have you felt about the progress and the development of this year's team?
It's a really good question. It's always hard to put the record aside because it's just how it is, but I'm trying to do that. I feel like we're getting better. I will say this. Last night was a tough loss. That loss to Central Missouri at home was a tough loss. I thought it's a game we should have won, and I'm not taking anything away from Central Mo. They played really hard, really physical. Their coach is doing a good job. It's never a shot at another team. But when I'm talking about my team, I felt like we let an opportunity go a little bit astray on certain things that I think we're better at. And for whatever reason, we just went in these lulls, both defensively and offensively. You got to eliminate that. And that way they started that second half, scoring 16 points without a stop or a turnover. To have a team do that who was actually up on you at the half and still come back and lose by 3, that's a strange story. And so I just don't know where we were that first 5, 6, 7 minutes of the second half.
As far as your team is concerned, are there certain players that you're going to be looking forward, maybe more leadership from, as far as scoring, rebounding, playing defense tomorrow against Washburn?
It won't just be tomorrow. We're still searching. We have, Armand is our leader. He knows everything we're going to do. He's kind of a quiet leader. I don't really have that energy vocal guy. I think some guys are stepping forward trying to be that. Brayson Laube is a young man who's trying to be more vocal. It's funny. Leadership is something that's within you. It's hard to coach and develop that. It's hard to teach it. I had a really good friend, was head high school coach at Naperville Central, a really good high school program in Chicago suburbs. It's so funny. He said, he goes, I have the best quarterbacks I've ever had talent-wise. They're phenomenal. And they were going to MAC schools. One went to Michigan State. I mean, they were really good quarterbacks. But he goes, they aren't leaders. They don't talk. And to find leadership anymore, like when we were all growing up, we made the phone calls, and it's like, hey, we're all going to Jeff Johnson's house. You call him. I mean, we organized, did everything. This day and age, a lot of it's done for kids. And to really find a true leader and a guy that's really comfortable to get on a guy's, tail and really challenge them and still know they're still buddies afterwards and whatever, it's getting harder to find. And so we're actually looking for that. We're trying to find that in recruiting. We go to games early. We watch warm-ups. I'm looking for that kid that does that. We talk to the trainer. We talk to different people. Just tell us the character of this kid. Anything we can do to try to find that type of a young man, we're jumping on it. They're hard to find. We'll take one. Nice to us to be able to play it at a certain level too. But to answer your question, if tomorrow we're going to do what we do, that's been something that we're working on as a program. I kind of skipped your question before it too, but all those pieces are what we need. We need better leadership. We need better continuity. We need to be honest, our team all on the same page, all at the same time. And it's brand new for everybody but 3 guys, and those 3 were freshmen with me last year, and only one started 8 games. The other one started the last 20. But it isn't like they're juniors and seniors. It's kind of new for everybody. Not excuses. I mean, we're losing really close games we need to win. But reality, they're still learning a lot. And yet, as long as they keep coming to practice with the right attitudes and willingness to get better, which I've seen every day, we're going to keep getting better. I think February we're going to be a better team.
But I was just wondering if you have some kind of secret sauce in terms of building that chemistry with virtually kind of a brand new team, and how that's happened over the course of this year.
I'd like to find that sauce. I don't know. I might have a little too much garlic in there or something. I'm not sure what's going on there. We're doing that. It's a great question. It's going to take a couple years. I don't want to take very long. We go to Rice. First year we win 6. By the end we win 20. Everybody goes and gets head coaching jobs out of there. We go to Augustana. My first year I win 6. Come back strong with 8. Get finally to 12 and then 16. But then we go to like 9 out of 11 NCAA tour. We win a national championship. I think we are going to keep doing what we do, which is build. We have a system, offensive system, defensive system, but we have a system what we do off the floor. We have a system of how we prepare for practice. We have a system how we prepare for games. We have a system for how we travel. We have a routine, home game, away game. Everything we do, I want consistent, routine, and habit. We're still working on that. We're building that. Once that's established, and I get my classes split up where I have so many seniors, so many juniors, sophomores, and freshmen. Then I have my juniors and seniors teaching my freshmen and my sophomores, taking them under their wing. Now we have a program. Now we're at a huddle with no timeouts, and we know what play we're going to run. Now we have a situation where they're looking up to that person. You just tell me what to do, and I'm going to go do it. And now we have a program, and we know that, and we're going to do that, and it's going to take some time. It can't take too much time. It's going to take some time. But we are going to build something that's solid, that's going to be around for a long time.
I guess, where do you think that you line up the best against them, and then where are some kind of key pieces where you think you can kind of improve against the style of play that Washburn has?
I think Shorter is a candidate for Player of the Year. I mean, in the country, but definitely in our league. And I think Hannah's a great defensive player. They have a very balanced team, and their kids that aren't super high scorers still find ways to get baskets. They still lead to baskets. A lot of time, those guys, they're making the pass before the pass for the assistant, or they're doing something to keep that ball moving. They're very good at that. They're very unselfish. What we have to do is this will sound kind of funny. If we're not scoring baskets or making baskets, we got to keep playing defense even harder. We can't let our offense affect our defense. They're too good. We can't have turnovers leading to their points. You can't do that anytime. I know that never works, but it really won't work for them. And they're very aggressive. They deny high post flashes. They do a lot of very difficult things to consistently play against for 40 minutes. So we have to limit their second shots. We have to rebound, and we have to do a way better job of taking care of the basketball.
Where do you line up well with Washburn, and where do you think that maybe you need to improve in terms of kind of like their style of play?
I'll give a shorter answer, but how we match up and things to do. Their experience and they're just more of an experienced basketball team than we are. What I like about playing them is kind of learning for my group to learn from them a little bit. I love watching their games and their film. I showed our team probably more film of them than I've shown on a lot of teams, and not even for. I want them to watch them play, and they do almost everything they do is how we want to be. I mean, how they guard, everything they do it reminds me so much of our team we had a few years back when we lost to Trevor Hudgens in the regional championship. Same length, the same bigs. It just reminds me of that team. And so, and what we have to do against it is not let them have easy baskets. We can't turn it over. We can't give them second shots. They're very aggressive in the passing lanes. They're really aggressive with their bigs. They get around. They'll jump passing lanes on high post flashes. So what you start doing is being so sure of your pass, you're late. You're being so sure of your pass, you telegraph it. We still got to play with a rhythm and a quickness and a toughness and an aggressiveness. But yet, you got to be also watching your flash, watching your man, watching what we're doing early, and really connect both. What is that defender doing? Where is he coming from? What are the angles? And how can I best make sure that this pass gets to the outside correct hand without getting deflected or stolen? So for us to match up with them, we just got to go and do what we do. We can't change very much. We've had one day of preparation, and that's no excuse. We're used to playing Friday, Saturday league, but we can't change a whole lot. We're still figuring out who we are. We're still getting an identity, and we're going to continue to work on that. But to sit here and say, oh, this is it's going to be great being on TV. To sit here and say, I wish we were playing someone else? Yeah, probably kind of do. But I also enjoy this game, and I think it's a game that, our guys have to rise to the occasion regardless.
I mean, that's all I have, really.
Good.
Last question.
Okay.
Why should people come out on Saturday?
I think people need to start coming out because they're going to see some really fun basketball. It's not expensive. You get to know the kids. They're in your community. You're playing a team that could win a national championship, could do that. They're that good. Now, they got to get past injuries. It's a long season. They're hard to win. I've had a couple opportunities, finally got one, but you got to have some luck. You do. I mean, I lost my player of the year the first round game with a broken foot, and how lucky we got is the x-ray machine in Dallas was probably too old to pick up the break, and so we played him the last 2 games with a broken foot, and we won a national championship. That's kind of lucky. If we didn't know it was broken, we wouldn't have played him, and we wouldn't have won. And so he had 25-7 in the championship game with a broken foot. I think the community needs to be here to really start getting a feel for just how good a basketball this is and how fun it is for your family, your kids to be a part of this, and you can afford, the concessions, the ticket. It's all affordable, It's great, fun entertainment.
Perfect.
What led you to leave a very successful program in Augustana to take over Emporia State, which has had some success over the last couple of years?
It's a really good question. Everybody keeps asking that. It happens so fast. But I'll tell you the truth. Part of it has to do with, it's been it was a great run at Augie. Sustaining it's good to sustain. It means you're at a certain level. But I really enjoy building. I do. And I felt like it was either now or never. I have one more chance to rebuild. And that's not a hit. They did have success the last couple of years, but those players are gone. They're not here. And so I am rebuilding something again. And I kind of want to see, A, if we can do it. And B, I really enjoy, we lost a game last night that's just eating me up. But I still love it here, and I can't even explain how much fun I'm having. We have phenomenal administration. We really do. And the president, Hush, and, I just see the potential for fans here and to represent your community. I've always been a part of a University of Arizona, at Texas A&M, Rice, North Dakota State. Augie was a private school, but to have Emporia across your chest and to live in a basketball community like in a state like this, it's a lot of fun, and I'm really enjoying it. And I'm blessed to have an opportunity at my age to get to do something like that again. I really, and to mention that we're 400 miles south of there, the weather's way better than it was up there. And if you want to know another part, travel's better. Those games up there, you go from Sioux Falls to Minot and tell me how much you enjoy that on a bus with 20 other people. And this league is. I really like the Wednesday, Saturday, Thursday, Saturday, and how close the game. People here are like, yeah, Fort Hays, that's a tough one. It's like 200 miles. That is one of our closest division games in the league I came from. So all of those pieces played into it a little bit.
All right. Good job. Thanks,
Where do you feel like you are as far as, well, I don't really want to use the word rebuild, but that's probably the appropriate term. Where do you feel like you are in that process? Are you further along, or are you about where you thought maybe you would be?
I don't think we're as far as I thought we would be. I think we're a little behind. Part of that, I think, had a little bit of that had to do with injuries. People don't realize Kyrique missed the first 5 weeks. Kyrique had a knee injury, and so he didn't practice and wasn't with us for the first 5 weeks of when we started in October. Don being out, all those set you back, and we're not an established enough program or know each other well enough to lose kids of that magnitude for that long and just be okay for when they're back, boom, we're ready to go. I don't care what you do with a kid when he's hurt sitting out. They don't pick up and learn the offense. So when he finally got back after missing the first 5 weeks, he was behind. And so I couldn't be where I want. We're probably a couple, 1.5 defenses away from where I thought we would have, including with what we do. We're probably 3 baseline out of bounds play. We're probably 4 sets, 2 zones. We're not where I thought we would be. I do a yearly planner, I do a monthly, and I do a weekly, and we're not where I thought we would be by this time period. But that's okay. We're adjusting, we're tweaking, and we're slowly climbing there. Having said that, this year for me right now, we want to win every game, but I also want to get our guys better and become a team and lay that foundation to see that jump that we will take next year as well. And we don't have a senior on the team. So right now, I want to win every game, but I'm also building for next year as well with a lot of different components.
How much of it is, too, the fact that, with the exception of 3 guys, none of them have really played together with each other, learning their strengths, their weaknesses? How do you feel like you're getting closer to guys learning about their teammates?
Every time I think we are, we're not. And so, it's like last night we finally caught up. We were down 1 point. Called timeout. I said, you guys, whenever you think you're where you are, you finally reach that goal after climbing back, that's when you have your biggest fall. In life, whenever you think you're at your best, doing your best, and you relax, that's always been your biggest fall. And so I had that timeout, really explained it. They're shaking their heads. And I went from us down 1 to us down 14 in about a minute. And so, I think those are all pieces of what it is that you continuously teach. The one thing that I've learned doing this for a while, I don't change what we do. We're going to stay with what we do. We're going to stay with our offenses. You could tweak some things. I'm going to stay with our defense. But this is who we are. This is what we're going to be. And you need to learn to do these things for us to be the program I want to be. Now, individual talent. The best I've ever seen was Lute Olson. Lute would adjust. He had a solid offense that we ran. But within the framework of that offense, he'd take advantage of what those guards, when he had different guards, when you think of someone, Jason Terry compared to Steve Kerr, 2 great players, 2 totally different players. We have a system, but within the framework of that system, we will adjust to the talent level of whatever player we have in whatever position he's playing. We're still trying to figure out that talent level. And so everything right now is, of course, not where I want it to be. I don't think we're playing as well as I thought we could possibly play. But we're definitely going the right direction.
All right, Greg, I'm going to cut you off right there. We're done.